Why do so many Indians struggle with civic sense? This question often makes people uncomfortable, but it needs to be asked because the problem is we talk about corruption, politics, or the economy, but we rarely look in the mirror and ask, how do we behave in public spaces? And more importantly, why do we behave that way in many communities? People are raised to be conservative with money. That in itself isn't wrong. Saving for children and grandchildren shows responsibility. But when saving crosses into neglecting basic standards of living, it creates strange contradictions. I knew someone earning a huge salary in Switzerland, yet he walked around in torn shoes. He believed spending on himself was wasteful. But this same mindset also reflects in public behavior, hoarding resources at home, but showing little care for shared spaces outside. Another issue is littering. Many Indians casually throw garbage on streets, in corners, or anywhere they please. The excuse? The government didn't put enough bins. But civic sense is not about dustbins, it's about discipline. In countries like Switzerland, people carry trash until they find a proper place to dispose of it. That's the difference. Personal accountability versus blaming the system. I remember a painful incident where an Indian student in Switzerland found a note in her letterbox. It said, "You lousy, stinky Indians, do something about yourselves." Someone had even stuffed ice cream wrappers into her letterbox. Cruel, yes, but the anger came from a perception, true or not, that Indians often disrespect shared spaces. Even basic manners sometimes become cultural blind spots. For example, burping loudly in public may be seen as normal in India, but in Europe it can feel offensive. I once distanced myself from a friend who did this, not because I disliked him, but because I realized others saw it as disrespectful. Noise is another area. In Ireland, complaints surfaced because a group of Indian travelers on a tram were talking loudly, disturbing everyone else. Again, what feels normal at home becomes disruptive in a different cultural setting. And then there are incidents of urinating on beaches in Thailand, actions that don't just create embarrassment, but also damage India's image abroad. So why does this happen? One reason is normalization. When people grow up seeing litter on streets, hearing constant noise, or treating public spaces casually, it becomes normal. And when that mindset is carried abroad, it clashes with societies that value silence, order, and cleanliness. Another reason is misplaced pride. Some believe this is our way, no one can stop us. But civic sense isn't about culture, it's about respect for others, for the environment, for the very society we live in. So maybe the real question isn't whether Indians lack civic sense, it's whether we are willing to unlearn bad habits and adopt better ones. Because no government, no policy, no system can fix what people themselves refuse to change. And this is just the beginning. In multi-part series, I'll dive deeper into how these behaviors affect India's global image and what practical steps can actually shift this mindset. Because the problem is, change doesn't start from the top, it starts with us. Starts